What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mellon, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report for Tuesday, October 21st, 2014, delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can also listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just search for The Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio's website or app, and you'll find the show, and that way you can listen to any of our previous episodes of the program. Django Unchained actress Daniele Watts and her boyfriend Brian James Lucas have each been charged with lewd conduct after being detained by Los Angeles police officers in the Studio City neighborhood last month. According to a legal document issued to the Wrap Tuesday by the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office, 28-year-old actress and her partner were each charged with one count, which carries a maximum sentence of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. The two are set to be arraigned on November 13th. A representative for Watts has not yet responded to the Wrap's request for comment. The story first made headlines when the African-American actress claimed she was wrongfully handcuffed and detained by police officers on September 11th after being mistaken for a prostitute while she kissed her white boyfriend in the car. In a lengthy Facebook post written later that day, Watts says she was, quote, handcuffed and detained by two police officers after refusing to agree that I had done something wrong by showing affection, fully clothed in a public place. Officers were dispatched to the scene after someone called 911 reported two people were engaged in lewd acts in a parked car near CBS Bradford Studios. In an audio recorded made by LAPD Sergeant Jim Parker, one of the officers responded to the call. Watts' boyfriend Lucas can be heard cooperating when an officer asked to see his identification, but Watts refused to provide her ID and is later placed in handcuffs. Watts said, "There's no lewd conduct happening. We're not doing anything. Do you know how many times the cops have been called just because I'm black and he's white? I'm just being really honest, sir." Parker asked, "Who brought up the race card? I'm bringing it up." Watts responded, "I said nothing about you being black, and I have every right to ask for your ID," Parker goes on to say. Parker then said to a female officer to assist with the situation, "I have every right to say no, and if you like to demand it, you can take me down to court office, and I can make a scene about it. You know what? I have a publicist, and I worked as an actress at a studio." Once the audio was released, Watts' credibility immediately came into question. Then on September 19th, local civil rights leaders denounced the actress at a news conference in Inglewood. Project Islamic Hope President Najee Ali, Los Angeles Urban Policy Roundtable President Earl Afari Hutchinson, and other local black leaders who have previously supported Watts denounced her and demanded she apologize to the LAPD. But in a statement given to the Wrap later that day, Watts refused to apologize despite the backlash. The statement said, "When I was forced into handcuffs, the detaining officer cited this as his reason. My supervisor said to you, he ordered you to stay, and you left, so that's why we pulled you over, and that's why you're being detained. This is simply not true." 10 days later, in an op published by the Los Angeles Times, Watts admitted she had made mistakes. Watts wrote, "Could I have been calmer and more patient? Certainly. Still, the sergeant seemed to be trying to teach me a lesson." Ashoka Mupko, the NBC News cameraman who contracted the Ebola while assignment in Liberia earlier this month, has been declared free of the virus and will be discharged on Wednesday, a Nebraska Medical Center representative confirmed to the Wrap. A blood test performed by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention showed that the 33-year-old no longer has the virus in his bloodstream, reported NBC News, and he is free to head home to Rhode Island. He wrote on Twitter after being told the good news by nurses, "Knowledge that there's no more virus in my blood is a profound relief. I'm so lucky. Wish everyone who got sick could feel this way." Mupko was part of a news crew supporting the network's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Nancy Snyderman, while on assignment in Liberia when he contracted Ebola. Snyderman and her crew were put on a voluntary 21-day quarantine. However, she sparked controversy by violating the advisory, causing it to be upgraded to mandatory. Mupko began showing symptoms on October 1st and immediately quarantined himself and sought medical advice. He was taken to the Médecins Sans Frontières treatment center, where he was tested positive for the virus. He was then transported to the Nebraska Medical Center's biocontaminated unit for treatment. The NBC cameraman was one of several Americans who have contracted the virus and are currently being treated. So far, one man, Eric Duncan, had died from Ebola on U.S. soil, and the 2 nurses who treated him have since tested positive. The disease has inevitably sparked hyperbolic panic in the public and particularly in the media, and has already become the source of numerous late-night skits. Michael Muhney, who played villain Adam Newman on the CBS daytime drama The Young and the Restless since 2009, is exiting the series. Muhney broke the news on his Twitter account Tuesday, saying he'd been let go from the soap. Muhney wrote, adding to his last day, which will be January 30th, "I'm so sorry, it breaks my heart to say this, but I was just let go from Young and the Restless. My last day on the set is this Thursday." He also added, "I'm going to take some private time with my wife and kids, as I am most concerned for their well-being," Muhney says of his future plans. It is not yet known why Muhney is departing the show, or if there are plans to replace him in the role. A representative of the show has not yet responded to the Rap's request for comment. It wouldn't be completely surprising if The Young and the Restless found another actor to fill the role. Muhney himself replaced Chris Agnew as Newman. However, it's also entirely possible that they are writing his character off the series. Newman recently killed a young girl in a hit-and-run accident, perhaps making it difficult to redeem his character. Dr. Luke's legal team successfully requested to have a previously sealed deposition from 2011 made public, in which Kesha stated that the famed music producer never gave her drugs and that they had never had, quote, an intimate relationship, statements that are contrary to Kesha's more recent characterization of their relationship. In a lawsuit filed on October 14, the platinum-selling pop star accused Dr. Luke of sexually assault and battery and sexual harassment, claimed that he abused her both physically and verbally over the years that they worked together, including per court documents, one occasion where he slipped her GHB so he could, quote, rape her while she was unconscious. The celeb producer promptly countersued for defamation, calling the accusations and allegations outrageous and untrue. Kesha's attorney, Mark Gregos, said in response to the emergence of the deposition that seemingly contradicts her current claims that Dr. Luke's latest legal maneuver is a Hail Mary attempt to turn the tables against Kesha. The lawyer said in a statement, Luke's latest legal maneuver comes as no surprise as a desperate Hail Mary and a pathetic attempt to once again blame his victim. He also added, as detailed in our complaint, Luke walked Kesha down the beach and threatened to destroy Kesha's life and the lives of her family if she didn't cover up her sexual assaults in a 2011 deposition. He is now following through on his threats and grasping at straws to try to twist Kesha's equivocal statements. He also added, unfortunately, protecting abusers out of fear happens all too often with battered women. This case is about Luke's physical, emotional, and physiological abuse of Kesha and her fight to get him out of her life. After being driven to the brink of death and into rehab, she is no longer going to allow herself to wither away at the hands of her abuser as he tries to blame the victim. Barbara Walters is hard at work finalizing her list of the 10 most fascinating people of 2014, and although celebrities still have a little more than 2 months to make that impact, the legendary journalist already has a few locked-in picks. The first prominent name in entertainment to make the list is Scarlett Johansson. It's been quite the year for the 29-year-old. In addition to debuting that fabulous pixie cut, the talented actress welcomed a baby girl with fiancé Roman Derrick in September. What's also impressive is the fact that the new mom already has big projects lined up. In addition to starring in the upcoming Avengers movie, Johansson will also appear on the small screen in the period series The Custom of the Country. It turns out the one and only Oprah Winfrey will sit down with the former View co-host for an in-depth interview. In addition, Chelsea Handler and How I Met Your Mother star Neil Patrick Harris will chat with the famous journalist one-on-one. Walters said in a statement, "I was absolutely delighted when ABC approached me to do another year of 10 most fascinating people. I know we said last year was our last, but there are just too many fascinating people out there, and you never pass up the opportunity to interview Oprah, Neil, Chelsea, or Scarlett. We can't argue with that." Find out who else made the list when the annual special airs on Sunday, December 14th at 9 p.m. on ABC. Money isn't everything, even in Hollywood, and Olivia Munn is now revealing how taking a dramatic pay cut led to some of the biggest breaks of her career. The actress explained in a new interview with Self magazine that when she jumped from G4's Attack of the Show to The Daily Show, the salary wasn't what drew her to the new gig. Munn said in the November issue of the Fitness magazine, "I took an 80% pay cut because nothing's better than Jon Stewart thinking you're funny." The risk paid off as Munn was featured in 16 episodes as a correspondent for the long-running Comedy Central program and soon made a successful crossover into film with roles in Magic Mike and Iron Man 2. The former co-host broke geeky gamers' hearts when she left G4 in 2010 after spending 4 years covering conventions and video games, and said at the time that she wished she could do it all. "Apparently you can't do 4 shows at once," she lamented. In 2011, she took another gamble with a new job, a starring role in Aaron Sorkin's The Newsroom. Despite having offers to star in 3 sitcoms and 2 dramas, Munn was hell-bent on auditioning for the HBO show. She said, "I knew if I held on for Sorkin, my life would change." Munn has played on-air economics correspondent Sloan Sabbath for 2 seasons so far, and will return to the role when The Newsroom begins its 3rd and final season on November 9th on HBO. Ben Bradlee, the former executive editor of the Washington Post who held that position during the paper's key role in the Watergate scandal, died Tuesday of natural causes. He was 93 years old. Bradlee had been hospitalized in hospice care since late September after the continued deterioration of his health and dementia. He has suffered from Alzheimer's disease for several years. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama in a ceremony at the White House on November 20, 2013. In 2006, he received the Doctorate of Human Letters from Georgetown University, where he occasionally taught journalism courses. From 1965 to 1991, Bradlee served as the Washington Post's executive editor and carried the title of Vice President at Large of the Post until his death. He gained national fame during the Nixon administration for challenging the federal government over the rights to publish the Pentagon Papers. A year later, he backed 2 of his reporters, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, as they broke the Watergate story that led to Richard Nixon's resignation from the presidency. Bradlee was portrayed by Jason Robards in the 1976 film All the President's Men, based on his paper's work in that landmark story. Robards won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal. Born in Boston in 1921, Bradlee attended Harvard College and Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism. After his time at Harvard, Bradlee joined the Navy, where he worked as a communications officer during World War II. After the war, he began his career as a journalist at a small newspaper he helped found. Bradlee worked briefly for the government in the early 1950s, but he quickly returned to journalism by taking a job at Newsweek in 1953. He rose to become chief of the magazine's Washington, D.C. bureau, and when it was purchased by the Washington Post's parent company, Bradlee began his climbs up the ranks there. President Obama issued a statement Tuesday on the death of the renowned newsman. For Benjamin Bradlee, journalism was more than a profession. It was a public good vital to our democracy. A true newspaperman, he transformed the Washington Post into one of the country's finest newspapers, and with him at the helm, a growing army of reporters published the Pentagon Papers, exposed Watergate, and told stories that needed to be told. The stories that helped us understand our world and one another a little bit better. The standards, he said, a standard for honesty, objective, meticulous reporting, encouraged so many others to enter the profession, and that standard is why last year I was proud to honor Ben with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Today we offer our thoughts and prayers to Ben's family and all who are fortunate to share in what truly was a good life. The premiere of American Dad on Turner was so complex that viewers had to watch it twice. The TBS debut of the Seth MacFarlane animated series, which previously aired on Fox, drew a total of 2.5 million viewers, though only 1.1 million of them tuned in for the initial 9 p.m. telecast. An encore of the episode at 10 p.m. on Turner's Adult Swim brought in the remaining 1.4 million total viewers. In the 1849 demographic most sought by advertisers, the initial airing of American Dad, which follows CIA agent and staunch GOP supporter Stan Smith and his family, had 851,000 viewers with its initial airing and 798,000 with its Adult Swim encore. American Dad ran 10 full seasons on Fox, with the first 2 episodes of the current 11th season, also airing on Fox. The Fox finale of the series, airing September 21st, drew a 1.4 rating out of 4 shares and had 3 million total viewers. Is it still Scream without that iconic black and white mask? This may be the question facing MTV as they prepare to mount a series adaptation of Wes Craven's classic slasher franchise. According to R.J. Tolbert, the man who created the Ghostface mask that became synonymous with the franchise serial killers, won't be a part of the new series. MTV declined to comment to the wrap. Tolbert told Scream fans on the website ghostface.co.uk, I have been in communications with TWC regarding this, and they have informed me that as of now and during the initial launch that Ghostface is not involved in the new format. He doesn't rule out the possibility of the mask coming into play later on in the series, but as of now there is no involvement. Tolbert also indicated it is the decision of the producers and filmmakers who own the Scream franchise to not incorporate the mask into the new series. While Ghostface is owned by Fun World, the Scream motion picture franchise is owned by the Weinstein Company and is their option to film a movie or TV show without Ghostface, he continued. The new series will follow a group of teens who dig into their town's dark past after a viral YouTube video leads to a murder. Wilma Fitzgerald, Bex Taylor Claus, John Carna, Carlson Young, and Amadeus Serafini also star in the pilot, which will be directed by Jamie Travis. Real Housewives of New Jersey star Teresa Giudice's ex-legal crisis manager Wendy Feldman spoke to the Rap Tuesday just one day after she dropped the Bravo reality star as a client. She said, "This is real life. The stakes are high, and this isn't a television network where you can stomp your feet and get your way. This is federal prison. This is not a hotel." Giudice's newly appointed attorneys petitioned the courts Monday to ask if the reality star could serve most of her 15-month sentence in a halfway house and the remainder at Danbury Federal Prison, where the hit Netflix series Orange is the New Black is set. Feldman took strong objections to the move and said the letter was, quote, filled with inaccuracies and information that was blatantly false. This would be the professional legal crisis manager's final straw before she dropped Giudice. U.S. prosecutors filled their own letter Tuesday, strongly objecting to the petition, and Feldman said that the letter pretty much echoed her sentiments from Monday. She said, "Today we found out the prosecution has responded to voluminous written form, and they seem to agree exactly with what I was saying yesterday. They have the luxury to respond to Judge Salas. I have no such luxury." Teresa and her husband Joe Giudice were both convicted of mail wire and bankruptcy fraud in a New Jersey federal court on October 2nd. Joe Giudice, who was also pleaded guilty to a count of failing to file a tax return, was sentenced to 41 months. The courts have allowed the couple to serve their sentences separately for the sake of their daughters. Feldman is disappointed by how Teresa has managed herself since then. She continued, "When a client goes rogue, it's really devastating because you pour so much energy and time into it and nobody wants it to happen," she continued. "I don't take any glee in this. I don't take this lightly. It's very, very sad." The Dallas Cowboys waived Michael Sam from their practice squad on Tuesday, sending the first openly gay NFL player back on the market. Sam joined the Cowboys' 10-man practice squad before the regular season began, and he never made it to the team's 53-man roster. He was previously cut from the St. Louis Rams, who selected him in the 7th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. As a member of the Rams, Sam's had 3 sacks and 11 total tackles during the preseason. The defensive end responded to the move in a series of tweets saying he was both disappointed and thankful. "I want to thank the Jones family and the entire Cowboys organization for this opportunity, as well as my friends, family, teammates, and fans for their support," he wrote to his almost 200,000 followers. He also added, "While this is disappointing, I will take the lessons I've learned here in Dallas and continue to fight for an opportunity to prove that I can play every Sunday." Sam, last year's SEC Co-Defensive Player of the Year, didn't have a good showing at the NFL Scouting Combine, where he struggled in both the 40-yard dash and vertical leap. Following that lackluster display, he was chosen by the Rams with the 249 overall pick. Following the final whistle of his collegiate career, Sam announced publicly that he was gay. And as your entertainment report for Tuesday, October 21st, 2014, I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello. That's RayMelo, or on Twitter @The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just search for the Entertainment Report, and it will take you to our page where you can listen to this episode and any previous past episodes that we've done for the show. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.